Can you imagine needing money or attention so badly that you literally sell your soul to be the mouthpiece, the defender, the deflector, the lead propagandist for anything and everything Joe Biden? I mean, every time the guy says or does something stupid, which is many, many times a day these days, it's your job to just come out and zap the American people with one of those things from the Men in Black movies. And this is the kind of stuff that you'll have to clean up.
Military. When he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
I mean, obviously, there's absolutely no defending that. I mean, many, many, many American service members have been killed on Joe Biden's watch. And my guess is that they're going to keep dying because we have absolutely zero accountability in the administration or in the Pentagon. We have no accountability at all. And obviously, any sane or honest person would just own it, just own that statement, say, look, I don't know what he meant, but here are the facts, and then just rattle off some platitudes, straw man some Republicans somewhere and just move on. But Corrine Jean-Pierre, everybody's second favorite diversity hire, she is not a sane or honest person. She's not that person. That is not her. And she wants the attention of press secretary so bad that even, literally no one in the building wants her there anymore, right? So, but she still shows up to work. She still shows up to clean up every single mess the president makes. Probably literally cleans up messes that the guy makes. And here she is giving a Kamala class word salad, just trying to explain away a declining commander-in-chief who believes that he hasn't lost a soul.
The 3 U.S. troops died in Jordan this year and more in Afghanistan in 2021. How can the president say none have died during his administration?
So, look, obviously the president, as you know, is the commander-in-chief, and you hear him even when he ends all of his remarks. He talks about respecting our troops who are serving today, and he will always do that and continues to do that. And he obviously his son was obviously served as well. So this is something that he respects, and so look, I don't think that will ever change. Obviously, our hearts and our thoughts go out to the family who are clearly still suffering and thinking about their loved ones, and so we'll continue to do that. And I refer you to the campaign about specifics about fact checking and all of those pieces. But I can speak to a president that has been incredibly respectful of the military and what they do for us day in and day out, and how they continue to serve our country. You saw that on display, obviously, in D-Day when he was in Normandy. He did that twice, and honoring those who have fallen, and so he'll continue to do that. Any particular fact check, I would certainly refer you to the campaign.
Well, I understand that was said during debate so that we can refer to the campaign, but he's the president. These weren't off-the-cuff remarks. They felt prepared, and it was clearly a mistake. Does he not consider these to be?
What I will say is the president respects our military force. He respects the families who have lost members of the military. He will continue to do that. He has been very consistent about that, not just as president, but as vice president, as senator. You hear him talk about the service and how they put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. He always ends his remarks mentioning and lifting up our service members, and that's what I will speak to at this time. All right, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Corrine.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in New York.
So instead of offering her own thin and meaningless platitudes, she just refers to the president's. The reporter had a point, man. When I watched that again, those remarks, they really did seem prepared. Like somebody prepped him. Somebody made him believe that. And obviously they were a mistake. I don't know did he not call the families of the fallen? I mean, how would someone who cares so much about the military, or even claims to care so much about the military, which, it's evident by the fact that every time he gives a lie-riddled speech, he ends it with saying, "God bless the troops." That's supposed to be enough for us, according to KJP. But how would a guy like that forget that he watched Americans die on his watch? And literally, he actually got crushed in the media for actually checking his watch at their dignified transfer. I mean, the truth is, the way, my opinion, Joe Biden does not care. Joe Biden is not the warm, fuzzy, caring person that the intellectually compromised people that still support the guy believe he is.
My name is Kelly Barnett. I am the mother of Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover. What I do, I'm a grandmother first and foremost, and Taylor's mom, but I am a paralegal.
And my name is Darren Hoover, father to Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover, grandpa as well, four wonderful kids, and I'm a retired law enforcement.
15th of August, he called me and said, "Mom, we're going." And I said, "Okay, son. I want you to do me 3 things." I said, "I want you to get yourself home safe, get your men home safe, and lastly, to get as many people out of there as possible." And he said, "Yes, ma'am, I will do that." I go back and forth of, why did you say that? But it wasn't that I said that. It was him. Taylor was all about saving those people. And it was different. This time on Afghan Soul was different for him. This time was different. He was face to face with these people. He got to see so much horror and so much pain in their face. It changed him a little bit. He told his friends that the women and children reminded him of his sisters and his mom and his nieces, and that he couldn't handle it. He couldn't bear it, that he wanted to get them out of there. I know that he worked tirelessly. When they had little breaks, I've been told by his lieutenant and his guys that he would be like, "No, I'm going back out." But he told me while he was over there that this, I'm sorry to curse, but I want to say the words that he said, but he said it was the biggest he'd ever seen. And that he knew now that upper in command could care less about them on the ground. And I just dropped to the floor when he said that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, my kid is over there. He was 31. He wasn't a kid, but to me, he's going to always be a kid. And he's over there going through this, and he doesn't feel like he's got the backing of our government, the backing of the generals and admirals, and it showed at the debate last night that, they haven't been forgotten, that the Biden administration, not Joe Biden, he was told to say that no one died under his watch. He doesn't remember even what he had for breakfast that morning, but he was told to say that. So I know that they could care less about our children, about the men and women that died, the men and women that were injured, the civilians that died. They could care less. They want it in their rear view. They want it to be not talked about. But we're not going away. So in your face, Biden administration, we're here.
We got absolutely nothing. Not a phone call, not an email, not a text, not a single solitary thing from them. What was it, 6 months or a year later?
About a year later.
Year later, we get, all of us, all the 13 families, get a canned letter. It said the exact same thing, and it looked like it was a photocopy of all of that. It was basically, we're sorry that your service member had died, and that's been it. We've had absolutely nothing before, nothing since. And as much as we've tried in the past little bit, when we've been going before Congress to try and get a meeting, and it's been denied because he's a chicken. He doesn't want to deal with us. He knows that we're in his face, but he doesn't want to deal with us. I'm sitting there watching it, and I knew Afghanistan was going to come up sooner or later. I just didn't know when or how, but I'm sitting there waiting for it. And when it finally did come up, and the stumbling, bumbling buffoon that we have in the White House said what he said, had the audacity to say that under his watch that no military members have died. And the rage and the absolute disgust that I got from hearing him say that, I started yelling back at the TV. Just out of frustration. He's never acknowledged, not one time, any of our kids. He's never said their names, even to this day. I doubt very seriously that he even knows their names. And so last night was just another, what do you want to call it? Piece in the whole dang administration that they don't care, and it shows.
What I would say to them is shame on you using our children as a pawn. It just makes me sick. It's sickening, but it goes to the way that we've been treated the past 3 years. It's 3 years. We're going on 3 years now.
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. And these people have to live through this every time this garbage comes up, man. It's just like it just happened yesterday. And, those are the parents of just one of the many, 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 many fallen that we have lost under the unaccountable leadership of Joe Biden. And he does not care. I think it's pretty simple. If you ask me, I think it's pretty simple. We either have a guy who doesn't give a shit or doesn't remember. And neither one of those options is acceptable at all. But that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.